Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. It's Monday, we've got another 2 games coming up this week, and today I wanted to do a little roundup of all of the latest Chelsea news so that we're all on the same page, we're up to date, we can debate a couple of things because I don't know about you, but I was watching football a lot this weekend. It's been one of the things I've been trying to do since the beginning of this season. I normally spend a lot of my time watching Chelsea, but then because of the time difference from when the games are on to where I live in the world, it's not always easy to stay up every single night of the week watching football until the early hours or the beginning of the next bloody day. So I've been trying to consciously watch more football. If there is one thing I'm worried about that isn't Erling Haaland, because that is the one that everyone's gone with, I'm worried about Arsenal. And there are many reasons why I'm worried about Arsenal. Martinelli, Mikel Arteta seems to have just got everything working. Gabriel Jesus, Bukayo Saka. But Lee Judges, on last week's episode of Last Fan Standing, was talking about Ben White.
Yeah, I just feel like I'm going to talk about Ben White. I think that he gets a little bit of a raw deal. I think he's coming at right back when the beginning of the season started, playing at Crystal Palace. He's up against Zaha, he's going to get roasted. Zaha never got a kick. Song this week, look, he's playing up against Song, he's going to get roasted and all that. Like, Song has to come off. I think he's playing right back at this moment in time, doing a really good job. Technically, very good player.
Now, the reason Ben White is an interesting one is because not only does it look as though now Ben White could actually be more of a competitor to Reece James's right back role for England, and I know you guys are going to be going nuts at me here because we're a Chelsea channel. Let me know in the comments down below. Surely Ben White isn't going to remove Reece James as England's number 1 right back? Trent Alexander-Arnold, that is the debate that has been going around forever. Now, I want to ask you guys, Ben White, I watched him last night against Liverpool. I thought he was absolutely excellent, and he's being kind of used as like right centre-back, then right wing-back, right back, and it's a very fluid system Arteta's playing right now. We're not going to talk about Arsenal too much today, but I want to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Trent was bought off at half-time. Surely, Reece James is the number 1? He's got to be. Or is Ben White in there as well? Head over to the Last Fan Standing channel. I'll leave a link to the video in the description. I'm not on this week, but again, I'll probably be on next week. I do a couple of appearances a month on the show. Go and check it out. Reece James is in form. Reece James is doing well, and for me, he's England's number 1. He's Chelsea's number 1, despite a brilliant Azpilicueta performance the other day. But the first real piece of news, Reece James locked in a new deal. Mason Mount is the next priority. As we go further into this news video today, I'm going to talk a bit about Lorenzo Pellegrini of Roma and Yeremy Pino from Villarreal, who are apparently being used as contingency ideas by the Chelsea hierarchy if Mason Mount does not extend his deal, which has currently only got 20 months remaining. Now, I think there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that Mason Mount will sign a new Chelsea deal. And the reason I want to discuss this today is because with the delay with this one, Graham Potter's made it very clear that it is top priority, and he's got no doubts, to quote the man, that Mason Mount will sign a new contract. However, there is also a transfer plan being made right now, not just for the next window, but also next summer, and then for the foreseeable windows after that. Todd Boehly and Clear Lake Capital, we've seen from the way that we're operating so far since the takeover with the new ownership, there's a plan. And I think Mason Mount, I'm only guessing here, by the way. This is speculation, which is the whole point of me making this bloody YouTube channel. Mason Mount might not have signed the new deal, not because of, let's say, financially what he's going to be receiving as a result of signing said new contract, but Chelsea are linked to a hell of a lot of players. There are rumours circulating the rumour mill when it comes to transfers and what Chelsea want. There's been 3 different kinds of people, not 3 different kinds of people, 3 different parties, let's say, that players who are looking to sign new contracts but also want to make sure there are guarantees about where they're going to be used, how often they're going to be used. At the beginning of the season, Thomas Tuchel would have had his players that he would have wanted to look for that he either didn't get in the last transfer window, or put him forward towards Todd Boehly and everybody up there saying, okay, next January, this is what I think we need to build the squad. Next summer, this could be a bit more expensive. This is what we need to build a squad. There are also the Todd Boehly signings, the ones that he would quite like to bring in. It's his money. Well, it's technically not the money, it's the money of the club. He owns the club, but that is another party that is involved with the investment plan for Chelsea's squad, bringing it back. Mount hasn't signed the contract. Now, there's also Graham Potter, who will have his own ideas of certain players necessary. I think Mason Mount will be waiting for reassurances about what kind of players Chelsea are looking to buy. Yes, even if Mount just signs the contract and then, let's say we do invest heavily in positions similar to where Mason Mount could be playing, and then for whatever reason Mason Mount doesn't get the minutes, he can still leave. Even if he signs a new deal. The only issue with that is Chelsea will look at the fact that if he signs a new 5-year deal, Mason Mount is a top quality player. There's also that element of he's an English player. I think I was reading somewhere that Liverpool, Man City, these kind of teams are interested in Mount. So the fee that Chelsea would want for a Mason Mount, if he signs a new deal and it doesn't work out, these are all hypotheticals. I think Mount will stay at Chelsea for a very long time. The fee is astronomical. And then maybe it would be the club pricing Mount out of a move. These are all like super deep hypotheses. Hypotheses? Is that even a thing? I don't know if that's a thing, but we're going to roll with it as if it is. Mason Mount is the top priority. I think what I've just said is simply devil's advocate speculation. I think Mason Mount will sign a new contract. Don't want to spend too much time focusing on Lorenzo Pellegrini and Yeremy Pino because there are 4 other players who Chelsea have been heavily linked with, and it's been reported this week by The Athletic. Going to discuss that after this one. But Lorenzo Pellegrini, Roma, 26 years old. You've also got Yeremy Pino in there, who's already played for the Spanish national team. He is 19, can play anywhere across the front line. And I think a lot of the big questions that have been asked about Mount is where is that preferred position? We see him sometimes out on the wing. I think we see him at his best when he's in a more central area and then naturally gravitates out towards that wing, such as the link-up we saw at the weekend where Azpilicueta was getting forward, leaving Mount out wide with the freedom to put crosses in. You also see the link-up with Christian Pulisic too. Mason Mount is a diverse player, and I think Chelsea will keep being linked with these kind of diverse options, considering as we move in to this story from The Athletic about how Chelsea want to bring the age of their squad down. When we look at N'Golo Kante in his 30s, Jorginho, exactly the same. We've always had the Jorginho stories. Will he stay at Chelsea? Will he sign a new deal? Will he go back to Italy? N'Golo Kante, it's injuries that we have to worry about with Kante. Is he going to remain fit enough for Chelsea to be able to offer him and trust that he can keep going at the highest level if we give him a new 2-year deal? So with that being said, it is reported by The Athletic that Chelsea have 4 key players that we wish to bring in. Josko Gvardiol from RB Leipzig, Jude Bellingham from Borussia Dortmund, Edson Alvarez from Ajax, and Christopher Nkunku. Nkunku is the one where we have this pre-contract agreement, and I realise that people don't want to get too excited about this yet for 2 reasons. Bundesliga tax, and what does that even really mean? The one that I think would be an exceptional piece of business from Chelsea, the more I watch Jude Bellingham, the more I'm absolutely certain that this guy is the future, one of the top central midfielders in the world, not just for whichever club he's playing for, but for England as well. I think Bellingham is a special, special player. Edson Alvarez too kind of fits more of that defensive midfield mould that Chelsea would be looking to replace with Jorginho and Kante in the final years of their contract. We also know in January, with the injuries that we keep seeing to Jorginho, Mateo Kovacic, Ruben is looking like he's getting into form. Connor as well, he's got the legs. Ruben's obviously a little bit older than Connor, but there's quality there, and we're seeing persistently consistent improvements. I just made an absolute meal of that for no reason. But I think definitely one central midfielder will be brought in January. I think Potter has mentioned that we look a bit light in the middle when it comes to numbers. We've seen that he's starting to get the best out of different members of the squad, making multiple changes game by game. And I think the early signs under Graham Potter are very, very positive. 10 points, if we add up from both competitions, out of a possible 12 in his opening 4. The quality of football starting to improve now too. And I really do believe with all of these signs that we're seeing with Christopher Vivel is expected to join from Leipzig. That is something that's moving quickly. Bowley is working a lot to set the foundation, and we've already got the foundations, but we're now starting to build the pieces as if it's a house that we're building from scratch here at Chelsea. Bowley has got a plan. Bowley is executing on all of the things he's saying about said plan so far. And I think those 4 players are ones that excite me a lot for this Chelsea rebuild. Now, got the game tomorrow against AC Milan. Absolutely buzzing for that one. If we get a result there, then I'm very confident that we shouldn't have to worry. Still got to take Zagreb and Salzburg seriously, but I think Chelsea will still qualify from the group. Let me know your thoughts on all of the stories today, and please answer the question, are you worried, like I am, about Ben White for Reece James's position? I know that Reece James, in my opinion, is the best right back in the world, but Southgate, he sometimes does odd things. Ben White's got to be in the squad, at least in my opinion right now for England, but is he competition for Reece James? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching today. Come on, you Blues.